Is hope possible if you have a terminal illness? If this video is too intense for you, you can click away. But I believe that it's important to face realities like this one because life is more valuable than what we usually make it out to be. Imagine this. You're making your morning coffee as you get ready to head to work and all of a sudden you get a headache. You lay down for a bit, then feel better. The next day, as you're brushing your teeth, you experience it again. Except this time, it's a little worse, but it's probably just stress. Work has been so busy that sometimes you can't take your lunch break. A few weeks go by and surprisingly, you haven't had a headache since. Then one night before bed, you notice your head is throbbing. You couldn't sleep the entire night, so you go to the doctor and they run some tests. You receive pain medications for the next few days as you wait for your diagnosis. You hope the doctors will figure out what's wrong with you so you can continue on with your life. You can't keep calling off work because you need this job to pay for your apartment's rent. One morning, you receive a call from the hospital. The doctor would like to speak with you in person to go over the diagnosis. You're finally gonna get your answer and life can go back to normal. Walking in the room, your doctor seems distressed. He's trying to stay calm, but it's hard not to notice his troubled expression. He looks you dead in the eye and says, "You have stage 4 cancer." In 5 words, your life gets flipped upside down. All the things you once found important, your job, your apartment, your status, now mean nothing. But the things that you never appreciated suddenly became paramount. There is no hope left. Or is there? David B. Feldman, an associate professor of psychology, frequently asks his students to reflect on what they think people feel when going through terminal illness. Their answers are generally the same. People with terminal illness feel hopelessness. Then, it's followed up with another question. Would it be possible for a terminally ill person to feel hopeful again? They respond similarly. No, there is no hope. But here's something to think about. Does hope equate to a cure? When students say there is no hope, most believe that it means there is no cure. But are they the same thing? 3 years ago, I was following this guy on YouTube by the name of Dan Thomas, whose channel name is PeeWeeToms. He documented his life as a cancer patient and took us along on his journey. The weeks following his diagnosis were horrible. He explained that he felt alone. The people that were supposed to help him were absent during the lowest times in his life. There was no cure for his cancer, and he saw no hope left. Because of this, Dan made a plan to end it all. He was going to drive to a hotel, get drunk, then come back to the hotel, and that would be the last time he would step foot on this earth. But that plan got derailed as he was driving intoxicated and got into a major car crash. The next thing he remembers is waking up in a prison cell. When we are hit with a life or death situation, in this case, terminal illness, we go through a process that's known as the stages of dying. First, denial hits. The shock of the diagnosis puts up a defense mechanism used to protect oneself from the hardship of an upsetting reality. What's interesting is that some patients directly deny the diagnosis and say that the results are due to a faulty test or an unqualified doctor, and others may just avoid talking about it altogether. Then comes anger. Once the patient gets hit with the reality of the situation, they may blame the doctors or their family members for not being supportive. Dan Thomas was furious because the people who he thought would be supportive ended up not being there when he needed them the most. Then after anger comes the worst part, depression. You try to protect yourself from emotional pain with denial and anger, but you can't escape it forever. The reality of death is inevitable, and you're at the end of your rope struggling to hold on. Dan no longer had a reason to live. He felt alone, and since the cancer clearly wasn't getting better, he might as well make it quick rather than suffer through the pain that comes from his disease. But as Dan was sitting in his prison cell, everything changed. He had a lot of questions about his cancer that he desperately wanted answers to. But after that night in jail, he came to the realization that the answers he had been looking for will never be answered. And from there, Dan reached the final stage, acceptance. When you get to this point, you no longer fight with yourself. You begin to focus on enjoying the little time you have left on this earth, and you finally find the thing that helps you get through the darkest of times, hope. Dan was able to find hope, But the sad truth is that not everyone who is terminally ill will get there. So the question is, how do we make hope possible for those who have none? Psychological research shows that hope can exist whenever these three conditions are set in someone's life. Goals can be anything we desire. This can be in any area of life, ranging from getting a raise to having a stronger relationship with God. Imagine having a terminal illness and getting out of bed every day just to be left alone with your thoughts. What would you think about? Chances are, you wouldn't be thinking about what food to eat for lunch. If you don't have any goals you are striving for, the thoughts of your impending future will eat you alive. But in order to reach these goals, you need to have a plan. A goal without a plan is just a wish. Studies have found that you are 42% more likely to achieve your goals if you write them down, because it forces you to get clear on exactly what you want to accomplish and how to get there. When Dan got out of jail, he created a bucket list. Instead of waiting to die, he chose to plan every single day until he leaves this earth. And with that comes purpose. Personal agency is the final piece in the puzzle. Agency consists of the beliefs that push us to keep striving for our goals. Before you die, what do you want to accomplish? Dan wanted to grow an audience to spread a message of hope in the midst of his deterioration. He wanted to inspire others to never give up the fight, even if there is no longer a fight for a cure. If Dan asked you right now if hope is possible when dealing with a terminal illness, what would you say? Just because there is no cure doesn't mean there is no hope. Although Dan knew he was going to die, he didn't give up hope. In fact, he's probably lived more during his time with cancer than his entire previous life, because life itself is a privilege. But to live life to the fullest, well, that's a choice. This is my challenge for you. For 1 week straight, I want you to do something you usually don't do to make your loved ones happy. For example, if you don't spend time with your mom, dedicate 30 minutes every day to spending time with her. I read an article of someone who spent 6 years working in hospice care, and one of the things people regret the most is that they wish they had been more loving to the people who are important to them. My friends, never throw away the chance to be with the people you care about, because tomorrow is never promised. Give me a thumbs up, subscribe, and hit the bell icon only if you want to. And if you watch these videos right here, I guarantee you'll learn at least one new thing about psychology that you can apply in your life. Now go make the world a better place. Visual Venture.